A rectangle is such that the length of two of its adjacent sides differ by 5 centimeters. A similar rectangle measures 16 centimeters by 26 centimeters. Find the length and breadth of the first rectangle. Solution. Now, looking at the first rectangle, we can have something like this. The first rectangle, Now, this is the first rectangle. Now, a rectangle is such that the length of two of its adjacent sides differ by 5 centimeters. And for a rectangle, we have what we call the length and the breadth. The length and the breadth. So we can say let the length of the first rectangle be x centimeter. So if the length of the first rectangle is x centimeter, the length is x, then what's going to be the breadth? And based on what we have here, differ, that is the difference between the length and the breadth of the rectangle. That is the first rectangle is 5 centimeters. So what does difference mean? That is subtraction. So it means that if the length is x, then the breadth is going to be x minus 5 centimeters. The breadth is going to be x minus 5 centimeters. Now, let me draw the second rectangle. The second rectangle. For rectangle, opposite sides are equal. An angle in each angle is 90 degrees. That is right angle, don't forget. So this side is also equal to this side here. Also this. Opposite sides are equal. So the length here, 16 centimeters by 26. How do you know the length? The length is a longer length. The longer one is 26 centimeters. While the shorter, that is the breadth, and that is 16 centimeters. And from the question, a similar, that is the two triangles are similar. This is the second triangle now. Second rectangle rather. We are dealing with rectangles. Second rectangles. The two rectangles are similar rectangles. So since they are similar rectangle, then we can do what we call comparison, and we apply what we call the principle of similar shapes. So principle of similar shapes state that what? The first length we have here, let's say the length of the first rectangle is L1. So L1 divided by the length of the second rectangle must be equal to what? The breadth of the first rectangle divided by the breadth of the second rectangle. That's the relationship. So in this case, what is the length of the first rectangle? X. What is the length of the second rectangle? 26. What is the breadth of the first rectangle? X minus 5. And what's the breadth of the second rectangle? That is 16. So from here, we know that this, what we have here, is the same thing. This is also the same thing as. Or we can write this as length of second rectangle divided by length of first rectangle is equals to the breadth of second rectangle divided by breadth of first rectangle. Now, this expression we are having here is the same thing as writing what is the length of the second rectangle. 26 divided by the length of the first rectangle, x. And the breadth of the second rectangle, we have 16 divided by the breadth of the first rectangle, x minus 5. So we can see this second expression, or this second equation rather, is telling us that we have a binomial expression at the denominator at the right, and this one is not a binomial expression. This is an order form of unknowns at the denominator. So we can use any of these two equations to get our result. They are the same thing. Because if you take the reciprocal of both sides in this particular first equation, you will get the second equation. Now, I'm going to solve the second equation. I have 26 divided by x equals to 16 divided by x minus 5. And how do we solve this? We'll cross multiply. By cross multiply, we have 26 into bracket x minus 5 is equals to what? 16 into bracket x. So the next thing for us to do is to expand the bracket. Expanding the bracket, 26 will multiply x. 26x. Now 26 will also multiply minus 5. Now what is 26 times 5? 26 times 5, 5 times 6, that is 30. Then we carry 3. 5 times 2, we have 10. So plus 3, it will give us 130. So 26 times 5 is 130. Expanding the bracket at the right hand, 16 times x, we have 16x. So what is the next thing for us to do? Is to collect the like terms. 26x and 16x are like terms. So we can move 26x, or we can move 16. You can move either 26x or 16x. Now let's move 16x to the left. Then if you move 16x to the left, we have what? Minus 16x. Then we move minus 130 to the right. What do we have? We have 130. This is negative. By the time it comes to the right, it becomes positive. 26x minus 16x. What are we having? 10x. So we have 10x equals to 130. Now from here, what do? We need to divide both sides by 10 for us to find x, because 10 is the coefficient of x. So 10x divided by 10 is equals to 130 divided by 10. So 10 here 1, 10 here 1. So x equals to 130 divided by 10 will give us 13. Now, let's go back to the main question. Find the length and breadth of the first rectangle. So, we can recall from the first shape, which represents the first rectangle. So, we say length of first rectangle. Length of first rectangle equals to what? X centimeter. So that will be equals to what now? Because the value of x is 13. That is 13 centimeter. Now, length, also the breadth. The breadth of first rectangle also. Breadth of first rectangle is what? X minus 5 centimeter. X minus 5 centimeter. And if you substitute the value of x to be 13, that will be 13 minus 5 centimeter. What is 13 minus 5? That's 8 centimeter. So we can now conclude that the first rectangle length is 13 centimeter and the length And the breadth of the first rectangle is 8 centimeter. That is the solution to the problem. Thank you.